Hi everyone and welcome to Walk Away from the Workbook. If you're new here, my name is Nicole Seymour and I'm a kindergarten teacher in California.
Early in the COVID-19 pandemic, schools were forced to shut down completely, and most, if not all, learning was done online. Teachers across the country and all over the world are being told that they need to catch the kids up because of all the learning that was lost last year. But students lost a lot more than academics this past year. Let's not discount all of the things that they went through and the trauma they had to endure at home. Some suffered from homelessness, from dealing with the stress of a caregiver losing a job, from emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, from neglect, or from witnessing problematic or violent relationships within their families. Kids have been through trauma this year, and that trauma is ongoing. The pandemic is not over yet. Today's video is all about supporting your child's mental health as they attempt to navigate through the varying emotions they're going to be feeling as they get through yet another challenging school year. First, let me remind you of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This graphic is one you're probably familiar with if you have ever taken a Psychology 101 class or a child development course in college. Kids who don't feel safe and who are not in a trusting, loving, nurturing environment will not learn no matter how much you push. Our children's basic needs need to be met before anything else can happen. Right now, many children's basic needs are not being met, and even if they are, their mental health needs are not being met. Part of the problem is that we live in a society that casts shame when people are going through what is viewed as a negative emotion. We need to stop putting value on the emotions that we're feeling. Feeling happy should not be considered a good emotion, just as feeling angry or mad or sad should not be considered a bad emotion. Emotions are just that, they're feelings, and they should not be classified as right or wrong. So the first thing we need to do is teach our children to think more like scientists when they are thinking about their emotions and how they're feeling throughout the day. Teach your child to name their emotions: tired, anxious, scared, silly, excited. Once they name that emotion, they need to figure out what caused that emotion to come to the surface. So they need to ask, why am I feeling that way? What caused me to feel that way? Then they can ask, what can I do about this emotion? What steps can I take to allow me to be in a more peaceful state of mind? This information should be as factual as possible. Remember, we're thinking like scientists. Don't add more emotions to this practice. It's just a tool to help you understand what you're feeling and why. Thinking like a scientist about your emotions is basically taking an emotional scan throughout the day. So you might want to think about times when your child may be less emotionally regulated. For example, in my classroom, I like to do emotional scans first thing in the morning, right after recess, right after lunch, and right before we go home for the day. All of these are times of day when I notice heightened emotions in my classroom. So I like to plug in times for us to do emotional scans throughout the day so that students are able to share and explain and express why those emotions are happening to them. So once you've done these emotional scans and you have named the emotion and figured out where it came from, it's time for you to put into practice the ways that you can calm yourself and bring yourself back to a peaceful state of mind. The first thing I'm going to tell you to teach your child are breathing exercises. There are so many different breathing exercises for kids. You can just look them up on Google, and there are so many videos out there that will show you how to do those breathing exercises. One of the ones I'm going to use as an example right now is just called 5-finger breathing. All you do is you stretch out your hand to the front, make sure the fingers are wide apart, take your pointer finger from the other side, and have your child inhale. And when they reach the top of their thumb, exhale as they go down the other side. You just repeat this for every finger. So inhale, at the top, exhale. And they continue to do that breathing until they reach the end of their hand. I know it seems really silly, but it actually really helps calm them down. And just that physical touch on the hand is another sensory way to make sure that their emotions can calm. Another way that you can help your child once they have done that emotional scan is to allow them to do some kind of physical activity. I like to do yoga in my classroom, and I love Cosmic Kids Yoga on YouTube. If you don't know what Cosmic Kids Yoga is, please check it out. It's amazing. I do this in my classroom, but I also do it at home with my kids, and they all love it. It gives them something else to focus on. It allows them to stretch their bodies and just pull that stress away. If yoga isn't your child's thing, they could go outside, maybe kick a soccer ball, do some basketball, anything physical that will get their mind off of whatever it is that's bothering them or whatever is producing their heightened emotional state. Next up is calm down jars. It is a jar that is full of liquid, glitter, different objects that float around. And what you do when your child is in a heightened emotional state is you ask them to get that calm down jar, and they flip it around a couple times, set it on the table, and watch as everything in that jar swirls around or naturally falls to the bottom of the jar. It takes so long for everything to mellow out inside that jar that your child naturally starts to mellow out too. There are a lot of different ways to make calm down jars. Again, you can just Google it. You can find ideas on Pinterest, whatever works for you. They sell them at the store, but really you don't need to do that. You can probably make one on your own pretty simply. The next idea I have for you is called find a safe space. When children have endured a trauma, a lot of times when they are faced with a stressful situation, they're either going to fight back or they are going to leave. And when children leave, it's scary because we don't want them to get hurt. We want them to have a safe space. Something I do in my classroom is called a peace walk. I give them a safe way to flee so they feel in control of the situation and they are able to leave the situation for a minute to get grounded, but I know where they've gone, and so do other teachers. I take them on a peace walk as a full class. This is a predetermined path around where my classroom is so that I have a visual of my student at all times and I know when they have strayed from the peace walk path. Usually by the time my students come back from the peace walks, they are calmer and they are in a better state of mind to work through whatever the issue was to begin with. I want you to think of a place in your house, in your backyard, in your neighborhood, where you would feel comfortable with your child going so that they could work through their emotional state. This could be their bedroom, it could be your bedroom, it could be the backyard under a tree, it could be a reading tent. They're alone with how they're feeling and they're able to calm down in a way that works for them, but you also know that they're safe and they're cared for and they can come out and talk to you when they're ready. Find a safe space. It really works. I highly recommend it. Sometimes when children are feeling a lot of different emotions, physical pressure is all they need to feel regulated again. That could be them extending pressure on something else or you putting pressure on their body. So let me give you some examples. You could have your child stand at the wall and push the wall as hard as they can, as if they're trying to push the wall away from them. All that energy that's going into the wall is all their anger that they're pushing away, or all their frustration, or any of those emotions that they might be feeling that are making them want to hit or hurt. You could also give them a pillow and have them punch the pillow or knead the pillow as hard as they can until all those emotions just kind of go away from them. A lot of kids also like to have physical pressure placed on them to be able to regulate their emotions. So pushing down on their shoulders, not so hard that you hurt them, but just putting enough pressure that it feels like maybe they're wearing a weighted vest of some kind. Wrapping them up in a tight hug is also another way to get them to calm and regulate those emotions. Any kind of physical touch that puts pressure on the body is good for your child when they are feeling out of sorts. If you have a child that likes to draw or color, those are two activities that are excellent ways to calm down and bring yourself back down to earth when you are feeling stressed or anxious or nervous about something. There are a lot of coloring books out there that are specifically designed to help with anxiety, so you could try one of those, or you could just give them a simple coloring book. Giving them all of these options for how they can calm down and be mindful about how they're feeling will help them in the long run. My final piece of advice is that you do not get as frustrated or angry or mad as your child does. Remember that anger breeds anger and calmness breeds calmness. You need to let your child know that no matter how they're acting, you will be there for them. A lot of times when children act out in anger, they are testing to see if you are going to stay with them or if you are going to leave. They want to know that you are always there for them and that you will always be there to guide them. So show them that you are. With my own son, when he is overly frustrated or angry about something of any kind, I try a lot of these different calming strategies, but when it comes down to it, he is just not willing to listen to anything. So I just tell him in those moments very calmly, you are having a very hard time right now. You're very angry, you're very frustrated. I'm trying to help, but it doesn't feel like I can help you right now. But I want you to know I'm here for you when you're ready. The behavior will continue. Sometimes it will even escalate a little bit. I will hear him slam his door in his room, and then about 5 minutes later, he comes out with his arms outstretched and he is ready to just sit, have a little cuddle and a hug with me. And then by the time he is calm, we're able to discuss what it was that made him so angry or frustrated and what we can do in the future to fix that problem. Stay calm, Stay with them. That is all they want. I know this was a lot, but I truly hope it helped you understand how to help your child practice mindfulness and how to help them with their mental health state. Please let me know if you have any questions at all, or if you would like to see more videos like this. I'm always happy to help. If you like this video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and share it with a friend. You can find me on social media at Walk Away from the Workbook on Facebook or at Seymour Coley on Instagram. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.